So first I want to congratulate on the victory that you have actually achieved. So just want to understand, has it sunken in and how do you currently feel for that?
First off, thank you. Thank you, IT sir, for having me here. Our journey is not new. I remember working with IT sir way back in 2017 when I became the first time IT minister. So thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Please give a round of applause to our minister. And also one of the other, sir, I wanted to also understand what was the important lesson that you learned from your father, N. Chandrababu Garu, especially given his expertise in bringing the innovation to the state.
No, I mean, you skipped a question.
So which is?
You didn't let me answer the first question yet. And I love questions. So, I mean, to be honest, this is a victory was certain. But I think this kind of mandate took everyone off guard. This mandate has increased our responsibility. It's a great responsibility on our shoulders. We take it with all humility. There are a lot of aspirations that people of Andhra Pradesh have. And as a government, we really need to be focused on delivering on those aspirations. So I think we're going to meet midways in terms of delivering on that. And in terms of my lessons from my leader, is to be very patient and perseverant. If you see in his entire political journey, it's had great highs and great lows. He takes his highs as he takes his lows. And for me, that's been a great lesson. And that's what I've learned from him, and that's the way I've taken my political journey also.
Oh, that was good. Today I had an incredible opportunity to spend time with you, Lokesh Garu. So some of the things what I've observed is like you're a straight shooter in terms about, how you compose yourself, when you're talking about investments. Just want to understand, especially when you're trying to bridge some of the gaps, especially in terms about creating an enterprise, because a lot of our audience are mostly in small business enterprises. So when you graduated from Stanford and went back to India, you had a role at Heritage as a director. So when you actually ran both an enterprise company and then you came back into politics, how was that experience? Because a lot of our audience here would want to understand how to create an enterprise.
I think that's a very good question. They're quite stark, they're quite different. In the private sector, when you are the boss, you decide the direction, you understand the journey, the results speak for themselves. If 1 month you miss something, you know where to correct. I think politics, you only get elections once every 5 years at the state level. So it gets very difficult to figure out whether you're in the right trajectory. And it's very important to remain grounded, meet people, hear from them, understand whether what you're doing is right and whether what decisions you're taking are meeting with their aspirations or not. So for me, that was very, very important. I think both journeys are mutually exclusive, but one thing I have learned being in the private sector and now in politics is building your team. You need to decide early on who can take you to a logical conclusion. I mean, who will be part of your journey. I think that's very important because when I joined Heritage, we had a crisis. Things were not good. We were losing a lot of money because of our retail expansion. Dairy was not bringing in that much of profit. So I had to decide early on the direction, trajectory of the business. Then I had to figure out whether the leaders believed in that vision or not. And based on that, I had to take decisions. I think politics is all about that also. I think you need people who believe in your vision, but also have that boldness to correct you when you're making mistakes. So in that sense, in terms of building your team, building the leadership in both organizations is something that I find very similar.
Yes. So I think building upon that, also, you come from a legendary family, want to, building upon the legacy of your family, what is the vision that you create, especially like, for example, want to understand the expectations, like say, for example, when I was, going to engineering school, I had expectations from my parents that, are you going to be an engineer or a doctor? Coming from a family, with a lot of legacy, how did you manage your expectations? How did you, come yourself, like, finding those differences?
I mean, even if you look at, even in business, when you come from a certain business family, the institution might have certain expectations on you. Similarly, in politics, there are greater expectations. People expect you to behave in a certain manner, respond in a certain manner. But if you look at my journey in politics, I've always broken the mold. You know, I have chosen the road less traveled. You know, membership in Telugu Desam party was never a smooth affair. And in 2014, I chose that as my focus area. Similarly, in 2019, when I had to contest election, there's always a debate on which seat I should contest from. Generally, political legacies, I mean, people, second generation, third generation politicians choose a safe seat. I chose Mangalgiri. And Mangalgiri is a seat that we did not win since 1985. So I said, I should try it out, I should challenge myself. And, political legacies are not about safe seats. I think we should choose a road less traveled. I lost in 2019 by 5,300 votes. I never felt bad. I said, I didn't have enough of time to convince the people of Mangalgiri on what Lokesh is. So I spent 5 years, I worked on it. I said, I'm going to contest from here. And in this process, a lot of people told me, why not contest from a safe seat also, just in case you lose? And I told them, if I do take an easy route or exit, that's accepting defeat, and I'm not going to. So I contested in Mangalgiri in 2024, and I'm really proud to say that I won it with the highest majority that Andhra Pradesh has ever seen, which is 91,000 votes.
Wow.
Again, after that, when the ministries were being selected, and when I spoke to Babu Garu about what I should do, and he asked me, what do you want? What do you think you want? I said, let me take HRD. Human resource development is one of the most toughest ministries, a lot of teacher unions, and I love the challenge. And it's a great opportunity for me to shape next generation leaders, thinkers, engineers, scientists, doctors. So I always believe as leaders we should take a road less travel and transform in your own way. And that is what I have learned in my political journey.
Wow, that was a great insight, Lokesh Garu. And then, given a lot of interviews that I watched, and then a couple of times that I've interacted with you, and then given that you also won Scotch Person of the Year for Digital Award, and given that the importance of technology in governance, how do you think especially technology can play an important role in terms about rural communities that you advocate for?
I mean, it's a fact that technology has changed all our lives. India has been lucky. We jumped the PC era, went straight to smartphones. There's more smartphones in India than there are toilets. That's a known fact. I think that presents a very unique opportunity in terms of governance. One thing I regret that we didn't do enough in our last term is to actually transform processes. What we did was digitize broken processes. But this time around, we want to correct it. We are actually looking at business process re-engineering in the government. And I'm looking at how can we deliver seamless governance in the hands of